Hello.
What is a lie?
As you going into a church, that's what you scream, huh? It reminds me when I was at uni, one of the homeworks we got was to draw a local church. Actually, a pretty big one because it was a city, and you know English cities used to only become cities if they had a cathedral. And just my friend constantly making the "well, I haven't set on fire yet" joke, just constantly, so many times. We get it.
It's funny once.
Yeah, or 3 times. That's how comedy works.
Yeah, as in
Yes.
fly now. They fly now?
And so you walk into the guiding church. Like I said, there's a little bit of a almost like it's actually a hardwood floor, then into a small amphitheater, right? Probably the size of a cinema, right? Or a cinema screening room. I don't know what you'd even call it. The space in the back is where there's this really big statue that dominates a large chunk of wall. And then kind of a stage-ish where, you know, I imagine speakers would be and priests and stuff. And there's some tables and things there. You can see a steaming brew of something that's being handed out. There's just a few people casually praying and like 2 people chatting. But one person who's clearly the priestess. Whomst would approach, or would you travel as a unified clump?
Or you just squat up?
And I would just walk up towards the priestess. Whoever follows me can follow me. I imagine
Keaton is following.
Theo's at least with me.
Ronan's following, but he's looking around the room. How many doors?
Just the one.
Room?
Actually,
the one,
there is
okay.
another one. There's another small door by the stage. But in your actual experience around Bastillion, you imagine that probably just goes to, like... That would not lead out. Bastillion, like, the internal architecture of any building Bastillion is weird because you have to build into whatever the floorage already was, or break it up and build it again, but that's more expensive, more dangerous. And often the chambers of the buildings are very weirdly shaped, and no one really knows why, and you just have to deal with it. So it's either storage or maybe where the priestess lives, something like that. But it's the door is so nondescript, it almost blends in with the wall, right?
Are there any 13-year-old wood elf, half wood elf?
No! Thank you for asking, though.
Yeah.
That's someone's paying attention.
That would have been amusing.
It would have been
That would have been really good. That would have been great.
Easiest 400 gold we've ever made.
Sometimes you win some.
I'm just keeping an eye out for telltale signs of classic church treachery.
The priestess, when you walk up to her, is a beautifully plump, vast-cursed woman who clearly takes quite a lot of care into her appearance. Brilliant clothing, a little bit of makeup, very, you know, carefully messy, large bunches of hair. A little aside about vast-cursed fashion. These are people that burn with internal heat and basically, as I said, do not feel the cold. So the clothing, the fashion of Bastillion, it's often known in other places as a very fashionable place. In part because they don't dress for the weather, they're always comfortable. So Bastillion clothing is kind of showy, kind of freeform. It's very much a mixture of, like, high-end fashion right now, drag, anime. It's very eclectic, but it does all connect and usually ends up looking pretty good. This person, maybe you're more eclectic than others. Quite a lot of, like, sort of bangles and silver and things like that. But clearly sees this squad approaching, finishes up pouring a glass of kombucha, which she'll hold kind of in her hands, and give you a kind of a curtsy, actually. Her tail kind of does the bit that the arms would usually do.
I'm gonna give kind of a half bow that I've kind of adopted so I don't have to shake people's hands.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and still be respectful.
Is there a common greeting from the Church of Vigil that they would do?
Up to you, man.
right.
Maybe a sort of that sort of thing seems right to me.
Yeah.
It's a church of it's not it's not a church of bros. It's a church of soldiers and paladins.
Right. So I think then you probably just do a one tap on the chest and then a slight head nod.
Ronan barely acknowledges and just keeps looking around.
Yeah. Ronan is like, he's in the group, but he's not in the conversation, is how I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, you're clearly here for something. Is there anything I can help you lot with?
Yes, we're actually inquiring about a young boy who attends your church. His
Oh.
sister's looking for him.
She looks at the, like, 4 people in the church. I don't see anyone here right
He's
now.
clearly not here right now. He's been
No.
gone for some time now.
Oh.
Do you know Bos Orleans?
He helps out sometimes. He helps out. He helps Sailorith. Yeah, he's nice. He's a simple, I sometimes give him a few copper or something for his time.
Oh, that's very kind. He helps Eldrith, you said?
Sailorith outside. They kind of get along. She might look scary, but she's a kind soul. I've met a lot of people like that in my time. Ronan, she seems oblivious, but genuinely
One of
oblivious. Not sinful, just
Yep.
doesn't know what's going on or the importance of it.
I don't
Might end
suppose
up
you'd
lying
happen to
by
know-
omission.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you'd happen to know when he was last here.
No, I don't. I don't really. I've had some conversations with the boy. He's nice, but children, they're not the. I kind of let Serif guide him. It's nice, she helped me since I started up the place, so I thought, it'd be nice to have her sort of guide him. But it's a shame. He's gone missing? How long?
We can't say. But thank you.
I would also like to insight her if that's acceptable.
Go ahead.
And in doing so, I'm also going to cast guidance on myself. And my doing this is literally just you actually probably wouldn't be able to see it that clearly because of my robes. I'm just weaving the signs kind of with my fingers. And this is something I do often.
Can you cast guidance on yourself?
Yeah. One willing
Yeah.
creature.
Okay. I've just never seen it being done before, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Boom. Boom. So it's 18.
Yeah, you get the same thing that Ronan does in that she is oblivious, but non-threatening. Probably does know more than she lets on, but probably not anything useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's probably had more than just the odd conversation with this boy. She's the priestess of the church, and is clearly only has one priest, maybe 2. Right.
Speaking of threats, is anyone watching us?
The priestess? But
Oh,
no,
there's
the other people are kind of praying or chatting. They don't really care.
This is a beautiful church. It's a shame you don't want more people here.
Oh, well, it's only small, and people come by at night.
Oh,
Yeah, this sort of there's not a lunch rush at the guiding church.
have there been any unusual or threatening people here in the last week or so?
Let me think. And as she thinks, she doesn't do the sort of that, but her tail curls and uncurls as she's thinking, like a loading bar icon. No, not. We don't don't really have that much trouble, really. Call it Providence, I guess.
Well, thank you for your time.
If you need anything else, I'll be here. I'll see if we know anything more about him.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And I guess I'll turn back out and talk to Sarah. Unless somebody has something else they want to do while they're inside.
Caden is just following you at this point.
Did she mention another person that the kid talked to in here?
This
Or
is
did I
just
Sarah.
Seraph.
misunderstand that? Oh, okay,
Seraph is the
that's
god
fine.
outside.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Let's go talk to her, I guess.
When we're like walking up to her, I want to assess if it looks like she's been in a fight recently.
Ooh,
Like anytime
that's a
recently.
really good idea. I'm very excited because I don't think I've ever had that question asked to me like as a DM, and that's a very good question. Go ahead and give me wait, your insight was terrible, wasn't it?
I have +2 inside perception and survival.
I'll give it. I think this is more insight than anything else.
You think?
Cool.
Cool.
Excuse me? Roll the dice, please. There it is.
You did.
No, I didn't come up on stream.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to tell when you look at her. In part, this is a church. The guiding church does have healing magic. It's really the church in this city that would use healing magic. So if she has been in a fight recently, it could have just been healed. But she does have quite a few scars. None of them big and dramatic, but like just nicks on the face and stuff that both you and Caden have, actually. Very similarly. And Theo. Amelia is the only pretty person here.
Amelia has lots of scars.
Excuse me. Caden is a very pretty boy.
Caden is a pretty boy.
He is a pretty boy.
I'm sorry I ever doubted the prettiness of your boy.
And by extension, so is Ronan, but he just has resting bitch face.
Yeah, he wrote it as
Takes a lot of
face
points
that
off.
Undoes it. Yeah.
She just looks to you as you approach, clearly knowing that you're about to talk to her again. She sat back down. The axe is like sort of on her back, kind of. She's sort of waiting. It's a very unelfin, like, it's a very, like, kind of human or vast way to sort of sit. There's no grace to it. Almost like she could spring up at any moment, sort of thing.
Hello, Sarah. Sorry, I got your name from the
Yeah.
We
High
are
priest.
High priestess? No? Priestess?
I think she's just a regular priestess.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what the structure
Oh,
is.
it's. We get away with. We've done away with a lot of the stuffy structure that you'll find in a church back in the Heartlands.
We're looking for a young boy, and we were told you spent quite a bit of time with him?
You're looking for Bosna?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen him?
I've not seen him for... It must be a day or two? Maybe more.
I want to insight that and maybe more part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whole thing, basically, but yeah.
Yeah, same.
You know elves near the end of their life. Time can blur together. It's probably likely that she's actually seen him most recently, based on that. But it probably still is. It's probably more than 2 days.
Yeah.
It's probably that she's just because she's clearly old. She's an old elf. She's probably at least 300, maybe 400. It's just mostly in battle scars than wiry hair and things like that.
What was your most recent encounter?
Well, she kind of like shifts her posture a bit, which makes her armor shift and move, which is a little kind of a light medium armor. We were discussing. We were trying to work out a plan for his future. He wanted to learn magic. He wanted to join one of the colleges. So we were working together, all of that, writing application papers, which is strange. But we were doing that. I was helping him. Maybe he got accepted, and they've just got him tied up.
Can you please tell me which churches he was which colleges he was applying to?
He was interested in the College of Conjuration and the College of Necromancy, mostly. Conjuration was his first choice, which I think is really the first choice of most people, really. I think he would have got in. He's a smart kid. He's much smarter than I think people gave him credit for. I think he could have become an excellent wizard. I don't know exactly what... She looks to Amelia. You call yourselves?
I'll just kind of nod at the term.
Uh,
And the church, was there anybody unusual here in the past week or so?
No, it's been quiet. Cold snap. Not so many people about.
Do you know anywhere he would have gone other than his home, places he regularly went?
He went to the Mage's Diamond quite often. That's near the College of Conjuration. He liked to look at all the apprentices going to and fro. He said that there was some sort of commotion going on there quite often recently. No, it wasn't there. He was looking at all of the colleges at first. He went and saw each one of them. It's a lot of walking for a boy. But he looked at them. He decided on those two. Mostly. He was interested in the others. He might have gone to apply to the others, but we've signed those papers.
Sorry, what was the second one?
Necromancy.
Right.
A fine choice for any 13-year-old boy, I'm sure. He seems to have had quite a sibling-esque relationship with you. I'm sure he confided in you from time to time. Or was this more of a purely practical arrangement between the two of you?
I don't know if I need to quantify a relationship with another person in simple terms. I don't know if it is that simple. But yes, he told me basically everything there was to tell, which wasn't much. He was only a boy.
I'm sure. I am merely wondering, did he ever mention to you any troubles going on at home with his sister, perhaps?
It's the eternal trouble. Money. I think that's why he wanted to become a mage, more than anything. I think that's why he wanted to join the colleges, to make money.
Can I insight that?
Yeah.
Guidance again, of course.
Damn.
It seems... She seems to be telling the truth.
Seems legit. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we've all been there at one point or another. I'm sorry, Amelia, what were you saying?
No trouble at all. Would you like to be kept informed if we find anything?
I would appreciate that, yes. She just sort of... She looks away, clearly deep in thought.
Ooh.
I'm going to set like a business card down.
I like that
It
a
just
lot,
has like
actually.
our address on it.
Yeah.
You remember anything? Give us
Yeah.
a call.
Absolutely. But you know, you've almost all of you, for one reason or another, have seen an elf just close themselves off. So you know that they're not going to react to any external stimulus for a little bit.
I mean,
Aiden-
pretty much all the elves I talked to have been really chatty.
Yeah!
It's just my turn.
Caden kind of
I
looks
can't
shut
at you, Amelia, and just kind of looks around and says, "Oh, are we going somewhere else now?"
Yes.
I would suggest the College of Necromancy first, I imagine.
I need to reach out to some people at the colleges.
Congratulations, Kaden. You will finally be going to college.
He kind of looks at you and just kind of tilts his head and says, "I'm not going to college."
Not because of you, just because they're terrible places.
What she said.
I'm not sure I follow.
That's okay.
All right. Well,
All you need to do is follow, Kaden. So we'll be on our way then.
Where are you going?
So I'm gonna send out a letter in advance to like the dean of admissions
Yeah.
to those two schools,
Yeah.
inquiring about the kid, and then I think we should go to the Mage's Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And you want
So
to check out
she said-
necromancy first?
The
She
Mage's
said
Diamond is where both the College of Conjuration and Transmutation are. They're adjacent to it.
Yeah.
So if you want to go there first, you might as well go to the College of Conjuration because it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said specifically that the commotion was happening at the other one, not the Mage's Diamond. So that's likely to be at the College of Necromancy. I think the commotion is probably a good idea to look into first.
Mm-hmm. I just want to have a letter sent out prior, because we're likely not going to get a meeting with them anytime soon, is my guess. We can certainly go there and ask around to other people, but
Politics.
You can send your owl
and you know
off.
what? Politics is a really good way to go about it. Thank you. I'm
It
going.
makes you look like fuck.
I am going to send a letter to my college asking for help. And see
Okay.
if they can get me, an in with either one of those deans.
So where are we going first? Ronan's vote would be the necromancy, but
Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
a vote. So
Necromancy's
Excellent.
fine.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so you send Mr. Aberforth out with a letter to the college. Interestingly, to all of you who may have not seen this before, the owl flies downwards, which is a little strange. And you can head towards the College of Necromancy. When you do so, the Bastillion College of Necromancy has, as all of these places do, the colleges basically own one spire each, and then land all over the place. And the colleges of magic in Bastillion are very influential, very important places. They kind of rule Bastillion openly from the shadows. Officially, they're not in charge of anything. But really, each one of them has fingers in every pie, and they don't really get along, aside from some specific cases, but they have to work together for some specific things, just to keep the city running. Let me just get my notes.
I think I actually have a couple of friends in the College of Necromancy.
You've
So
been...
at least people I've learned from.
Yes, you would have, when you got back to Bastillion, probably, with a little bit of a new interest. The College of Necromancy has a lot of large roads connecting it. What you would almost see as almost like highways. Because every college has duties to do. And the College of Necromancy, first of all, is the only place in the world, more or less, where necromancy is legal. It also has a very important role to play. There are no beasts of burden in Bastillion. There are no way you can have a horse go up and down the stairs and spires. There's no way you can do anything like that. And the spires are too tight for something like wyverns or something to be a very common goal. So as you go to the College of Necromancy, you're walking up on this plaza and you see a parade, essentially, of 8 to 10 zombies and skeletons carrying packages of parcels and bundles, things like that. The College of Necromancy's main purpose is deliveries and ferrying and currying and things like that, because it's just so practical.
They're drones.
They can go at a huge distance, completely follow commands. The issue is that they're dumb and stupid, and to some people off-putting. It depends on the exact situation. It might even take Theo a moment to notice that's what he's looking at, because often they would be covered up. But you would kind of connect, especially because, you would see by the main entrance, and the main entrance of the college has this grand statue of literally a skeleton and a zombie holding up a pillar or a platform that has several Vascursed on it. They're holding up the community, and that's over the main entrance to the college. But right by it, there is a member of the college with a staff, essentially waving through, and these undead are traveling up one of the ramps somewhere, following their command. It's might be chilling to you. The rest of you are just used to it. This is just how this city works.
Can I have a look around for anyone that would be on the street part of this area often, say a stall or someone who's selling, a street performer, if there is that, someone who would be there for probably pretty regularly.
That is a good request, and I will allow an investigation roll for it. Because this is a busy place. This is a plaza in front of a college, right? But in front of the main entrance. And there's a gazillion entrances because there's people who live here and all that sort of thing. But yes, that's a good idea.
Investigation, one of my lesser good things. Ooh.
No, you still do pretty well. You immediately get here, and while, Theo is maybe distracted by seeing a parade of dead people, you immediately look around and you see right by the road, the ramp you walked in on, what is essentially a food trader, right? Just kind of grilling up some stuff with their little stall. Sort of a wide-brimmed hat with their horns poking through it. The smell is very strong to counteract the stale smell of death that comes from the college.
Ronan's just look at the others. Give me a minute. And he's going to go to the store. He's going to grab something small, but something that...
Like a taco.
You get something that's going to take at least a little bit of preparing.
Yeah.
So he's going to order that. And
awesome.
then, has anything interesting been happening around here?
Fine, interesting, friend.
Commotions, anything more interesting than that? Pointing to the parade.
He's applying sauces. So what you actually are getting a fish, soft shell taco. And he's applying sauces and flavorings because the food in Bastillion has to be quite practical and bland. So there's a lot of spices and flavors. And he's doing that. You want to hear about commotion though? I hear by the College of Divination, there's some weird shit going on, friend. Some weird shit going on over there. I mean, I hear that those guys, these guys might hang out with dead people all the time, but they still come over here, they still eat, they still hang out, right? The people who see the future, they're weird. Tell you that.
Indeed. Well, thank you.
You like Hanzu.
Yeah.
And then the hands stay out expectingly for
how much?
Silver. This would probably be this is by the college. It'll probably be 2 silver.
Cool.
University
change.
markups.
Also, food is expensive in Bastillion.
Yeah. So he'll hand him 2 silver. Just, thank you. Walk back to the others. We might be dealing with something from divination. That one over there says that there was quite some commotion and weird stuff happening by the College of Divination, and that some of them have made their way over here.
Amelia, can you give me a history check? I don't even know if you're good at history. Well, you're smart.
The second he finishes explaining that, he just just chowing down.
He's a practical man.
He eats.
Caden looks
The
at
cafes around the College of Necromancy are fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite in all the colleges.
Caden kind of looks at you a little bit disappointed that you didn't get him a taco.
You think on this for a second, Amelia, and like I said, all the colleges have to get along and they work together. There is sometimes called the Circle of Colleges, where they discuss things, and you've heard about this because it is dramatic. The College of Divination rarely shows up. The person in charge of the College of Divination is a known weirdo. Bit of a
surprise. Not
necessarily a doomsayer, but kind of, people might describe him as like a hippie and stuff like that. Especially when the colleges are very capitalist, make money from people. They're still doing that, but they've got this kind of strange, like, he doesn't wear shoes. Like, there's a lot of rumors about the College of Divination and this guy and their practices. They don't often get along. It's more dramatic when he does show up to meetings, because that never happens, right? That's that sort of thing. And apparently he did actually recently when you were doing a room. If you give me a sec, I'll give you the name of the guy, because you would probably know it.
Cool Ollie.
Yeah.
Cool Ollie went to community college and got a degree.
Yeah, the way people would describe it is that the college has devolved, right? A little bit more focus on like the natural world and arcane magic and stuff like that. A lot of rituals, maybe even some religious practices.
He's a druid.
Just gotta find the dude. This is not. Dude, I think I searched for divination spelt wrong. That might be why.
Or alternatively, you searched for it spelt right, and that might be why.
I've told you before that my Jarviskjir page is so big and had so many spelling errors, but it stopped tracking them. So now I don't know what anything is. I will never know.
I like the idea, though, that Ronan and Kaden just share the taco with no sort of like worry about it's just crunch, hands it straight over.
The name of the head of the College of Divination is called Triumphant Gales. And if that doesn't tell you a bit about whom he is, I don't know what will.
I'm gonna relay this information back to the party. Just that they recently caused a fuss by showing up at the college circle meeting.
Interesting.
The college is in fact very weird. Whether or not that's related to this, I don't know.
Well, 2 fusses, and we know that he was talking about some sort of commotion. It's probably worth checking out. But, maybe we should check. Gestures to the college while we're here.
Yeah. Is there, like, a professor's office of, like, somebody I know here? Like a class that I elected?
Good question. I don't know if you would know a professor, but you would probably know, like, a graduate who teaches, there's... The terms are a whole politics of their own, right? But if someone has worked hard enough to become a graduate, they are very talented. So you probably would know someone. So let me just get that for you. And you would be able to walk in. All of the entrances to the colleges are very grand. They gotta be, right? The entrance to the College of Necromancy has a lot of, black marble and all that sort of thing. A lot of statues of skeletons and zombies that are very detailed. Because they gotta be. They gotta be honest. And more undead working around. The person you know here goes by the name of Sorry. It's kind of a known trait that the College of Necromancy kind of attracts people who already had a hard time or are down on their luck. They are actually sort of connected to your history roll. They're also one of the only colleges that will accept people who are older because when going into a college is a lifetime commitment. They're one of the few people that will commit.
Future resource.
Or if you can extend your lifetime.
Little column A, little in column B. And Sorry, you can immediately ignore the entrance desks and all of that kind of thing and just go up some spiral swooshing stairs looking for where she would be. Most likely her sort of classroom, I guess. What she actually specializes in is necromantic alchemy, which is, of course, something that Amelia is very interested in. So her office is like a high school chemistry lab, more or less. You do have to wait for a very large zombie to get out of the way. It's very slowly going up the stairs. It might be an ogre or an orc or something. It's huge. It's just taking its sweet time. But eventually, you get past. It can knock and enter and meet this Vasquest. Sorry, is small, petite, pale, sort of greyish skin, which isn't out of the ordinary. Dark hair, and is visibly surprised to see you just sort of barge in, and gets up from the desk where there's beakers bubbling, there's things churning, there is there's just an arm. There is an arm that is braced to the table, and the wrist is stirring something. It's basically an automatic stirrer, like a freaking stand mixer. And she kind of gets up and does like a little, almost instinctual bow, because there's a lot of nervous energy about this girl. Like, Amelia! You should have said you were coming.
Sorry for barging in like this. Ronan, Theodore, Caden.
You have a lot of friends with you.
Caden kind of gives like a wave with a nice smile and just...
No, I'm sure if they're friends of yours, you vetted them, right? They're not assassins or inquisitors or changelings.
No, well, I don't want to judge changelings too harshly.
I hear that some of them are good people, at least. She takes off like latex gloves, and they snap off, and will go up. No invitation to a handshake, of course, but will like step around the table to talk to a lot of you.
Mm-hmm. We're looking for a young boy who applied to the college, and he said there was some sort of commotion happening around one of the colleges, potentially necromancy. Do you know anything about that?
The only time there's a commotion here is when I don't want to say it. But when foreigners come by and they don't understand it. That's the only time there's any issue, because everyone else just understands that we're doing very important work here. But sometimes you get people and they say that this is an affront to nature, but nature makes all sorts of... I mean, have you seen what nature does? It's horrible. It's disgusting. Don't want to do anything to do with nature. I've lost my point. No, I don't think there's anything strange going on. Business as usual, I think.
You mentioned that these type of things only happen when foreigners drop by. As a foreigner myself, I mean you no harm. I promise that whatever strange oogly boogly land I come from is indeed not one which holds any threat to you or your skeletal values. I do wonder, though, have you had any people from away visit you recently?
I mean, people, not me personally. People are always coming by and doing things and meetings and arrangements and diplomacy, and it's a constant to and fro.
Bundled up even half as much as I seem to be today.
I don't really pay attention to people. I don't really deal with people. I wouldn't know.
Well then, I have nothing else to ask you.
I'm so sorry. I'm not much of a help.
No, you were plenty helpful. We didn't think the commotion was here at the College of Necromancy, and I just kind of want to confirm that information.
Well, Gothic gossip travels fast. If there was anything happening outside, I'm sure I would have heard about it at some point. You know, like, there's no windows in this room. You are, like, deep inside the tower. Like a little closet office.
If you hear from anything, would you let us know?
Oh, yes, I could send you a letter, yes.
Thank you. And the boy's name, Basnalines, that doesn't ring any bells, does it?
You know, sometimes we do get young corpses. They have just as much practicality as some of the others, but I don't ring a bell. We're very careful to make sure that in that sort of situation that we are doing all the practices that their family would want if they have a family. If they end up with us, they usually don't. Are you sure they're a young person, not an old person? We have a lot of old people.
Quite young, half-elven. I don't suppose it'd be possible for us to look at the bodies that you have right now.
Well, that would involve going to all of our morgues and checking all of the things, and I don't know if you would have the sort of permission. I could maybe see if there's records of that sort of thing. I mean, there are.
We are looking for a young half-elven boy, 13 years old.
Okay. Well, of course, we date all of our corpses.
Came in maybe like 5 or so days ago.
The hand that was stirring things picks up a pen and starts writing this down. While she thinks. And you can kind of see her hand making the motions of writing, like controlling it. But she's still standing and talking with you. And she nods. Well, I can get someone to take a look. I can put some feelers out. All of that sort of thing is we don't hide much here at the College of Necromancy. We don't really see much point in it. So if there is this Bosnalines, I can check for the name.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We sincerely hope we do not hear from you on this matter, but...
Oh, yes, that would be terrible!
Efforts.
Yes, despite the practicality, I do not wish the death of anyone.
I love that. I love the addition of the despite the practicality. Well, shall we get going to the College of Divination then?
I
wouldn't know anything about them, would you, sorry? The College of Divination? I heard they made quite a stir recently.
Oh, there's something going on outside them. We had to send a bunch of our carriers, and it's like a protest or something. That's probably not the right word. That's probably not what they would use, but I wasn't there. But we definitely had trouble getting... I can... You know, I remember one of the carrier skeletons came back with a flower wreath on its head. And that is just against protocol. None of us would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to confuse life and death.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
That's something I can roll Arcana on to know if there could be any magical reason why somebody
Yeah,
would do it.
yeah. Now, Theodore,
Damn.
you specialize in edge cases. You're like a Dr. House over here. It's actually quite a known practice to kind of enchant flowers or use enchanted flowers in a wreath to create some protection or a blessing, or plus a fertility blessing, very common. A lot of churches wouldn't know why they would give a. Yeah, no one's trying to get a skeleton pregnant. That's not a connotation. Well, actually, I do know some people who try, but the Undertale community is wild. Anyway.
Oh no.
That was a good joke.
That's not a joke.
It's not.
But in the case of nature magic, which could happen, especially if this is connected to it, also in the case of fey magic, flowers and wreaths, all that kind of thing. This probably wasn't meant to cast a spell on the skeleton. This is just probably something these processors were doing, and sort of as a thing. They did it because they knew it would piss off / confuse people.
Yeah.
You are willing to bet you will be able to tell who these processed are because they're probably wearing a lot of flowers for a similar reason, though you would bet in this city they probably do know the arcane connection to it. But whether it is nature magic, fey magic, or even some kind of very deliberate arcane nature magic.
Okay.
It'll be impossible to tell without telling. But if you actually got a hand on the specimens, it would be quite easy to tell, actually.
How peculiar indeed. I suggest that we head over to this college and see for ourselves just exactly what is going on.
Indeed.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
Oh, yes, that's what you meant to say at the end of conversations. It was nice to meet you too. I sincerely hope that we don't have to meet again.
I'll drop a letter next time. Sorry.
Okay. And
Bye!
You're gonna head out in the direction of the College of Divination, huh? I have spelt divination 4 different ways in this text.
That does not surprise me. Yeah.
Do not shame me in such a way.
I've read your notes.
Taking away my spell checker gave me too much power. Too much power.
Yeah, my note program doesn't have spell checker in it as well, and I'm kind of glad. No one else has to read it but me, as long as I can figure it out.
Okay. The College of Necromancy is actually in the southeast of the city. It's quite a way away from a lot of the other colleges, and actually, curiously enough, is the place where a lot of people from Northern and Dragonbrow would end up entering the city. There's only a few bridges into the city. So much. Y'all can start heading towards the College of Divination, which involves going up quite a lot. The College of Divination is one of the higher buildings. And by the time you get here, it would be nighttime. You've been trekking back and forth across the city.
As we're walking over, I would just be explaining to Amelia my knowledge of the connection with the flowers and the nature magic. Basically just what you explained to me.
Interesting. I haven't worked much with flowers.
I mean...
Except for the ones in Lichvale. But those were unique.
That sounds like a truly interesting story. One which I would love to hear.
Well, there's
Perhaps
really nothing more to the story of the flowers. I harvested them. I was able to make them into a potion that granted unnatural protections.
Interesting.
That's the story.
That was a lovely tale. These kind of things can be used in all manner of ways, in both healing and harmful. But it is just something to be aware of. We may be dealing with a type of magic unfamiliar to those who call the lovely city of Bastillion their home.
Well,
All right.
new knowledge is always appreciated.
I could not agree more. But
As-
be on your guard.
As you approach the College of Divination, this is an excellent time to take a break. So, we will do exactly that. And be back to deal with some hippies in a few minutes.